I'm about to be joined by a criminal exploitation specialist and motivational speaker, Marvin Herbert. We're going to find out more about his thoughts on apprenticeships and a bit about his journey. But first, the Apprenticeship Suffolk team went along to meet Marvin, and here are his thoughts indeed on apprenticeships.
Oh, I've got a blinder, right? Why they've got to respect teachers.
Yeah.
Right, and do you know why? Do you know
Why?
why? Because they went through school, education, college and university because they believed they could change the way we learn. So they come back to help you become a millionaire and a billionaire. And all you do is spit in their face every day because you don't want to do what they want to, what they know will make you a millionaire. They know that it will make you a millionaire. You won't focus on it. They can see you have the ability. You, not them, you. And they're trying to give you what they know so you can become successful, and you try to tell them they don't know what they're talking about. Wake up. Because if I'd have listened to all my teachers growing up, all my care workers and all my probation officers, I'd be a multi-billionaire. And do you know why I know? Because I started listening to them 7 years ago, and guess what? I'm worth millions. So what you can do is listen. Yeah.
So who would be different? Who would be the person that you would look back on now? One teacher. Can you think of any one person
Barry
that you
Mullen.
should have listened
Barry
to?
Mullen.
Why?
He took the time.
Okay.
Like, he took the time. He used to sit down with me and say, Marvin, listen, son, like, look, you've got skills, you're good at this, you're good at that. I said, what do you want about it? He said, well, come with me. He said, have you ever played badminton? I was like, no, what am I playing badminton for? He says, to see how smart you are. So we started playing badminton, and he's got me running all over, and I'm getting sick, getting tired, blowing, and he's not even moving. He's not even moving. He's just sitting in one spot. I was blown away, and I couldn't. And he went, no, it's just the positioning. It's just my positioning. So if I'd done this, and he showed me how to play badminton, right? He showed me how to row. He showed me how to do things like that tuned into my abilities, that tuned into my skills. So I realised that I was a quick twitch individual. So I needed active stuff. I needed to do things. But Barry Mullen showed me how to channel that energy into a sustainable product that I never saw at that age. He said, you ever done motocross? I said, what do you mean? He said, do you ride motorbikes? I was like, yeah, I like motorbikes. I never rode one in my life, really. Just messing about, nicking mopeds and stupid stuff like that. Well, come motocross. So they took me motocross. They give me a 125 scrambler to get on.
Nice.
Mate, I'm wheelie, I've lost control anyway. I've learned how to do motocross. So I've learned how to ride a motorbike. Then we have to learn how to clean them, how to fix their parts. So on Mondays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Wednesdays, I was really good in school, done everything, because I knew I wanted to go motocross and badminton. So then after schooling, I've always maintained them things because I know not everyone's good at it. And this is what I do now. I use all the skills that I learn from my education system, my mentors, my care workers that was good. Do you know what I mean? And I've used them skills now into creating products for young men and women that are just like me. So everyone helps everybody become everything we need as a cooperative. So if the society works as a cooperative mindset, then we will all add value to each other and we will all grow at a unilateral level. So for me, it's all about connecting with the right network of people now is what we're doing. And I'm teaching the youngsters the power in network, the power in knowledge. And don't be ignorant, don't be arrogant, don't be stupid, because knowledge is power, and knowledge will give you what you need in life when you're 30. So gain all the knowledge you need now for when you're 30 to decide what you want to do with your whole life. So we need to restart the education process for the kids with the understanding of what they are having education for, because they all despise education because they want to go out and have fun. Well, you won't have fun unless you have the right infrastructure in place and the right sustainable product to create the financial revenue stream which allows you to have fun. Like, all the negative ends of life is what you will end up with if you don't have an education, if you don't have knowledge. The only way human beings are going to learn for the 21st century, in my opinion, right, is by apprenticeships. Right? Because everybody's quick to follow people selling drugs, follow what people are wearing. Where if you went and done an apprenticeship and mimicked someone in that line and in that business, then you're going to be a millionaire. The opportunities into becoming a millionaire is simple if you're prepared to learn business systems and business strategies. So these are the things that I'm passionate about getting involved in, right? Because these are the things that people need to understand. Now, as well as the apprenticeships, it doesn't matter you're doing the apprenticeship. Why? Because I'm not interested in the apprenticeship you're doing. I'm interested in who you are. So what the HMP will be offering is a system where you do your apprenticeship and then you have an added system which develops you with your skill. So if you like music, if you like art, if you like sports, and I have football, boxing, cricket, basketball, world champions, gold medalists that are going to be doing the companies with us. I've got major players in, even Harry Redknapp. Fortunately enough, he's a good mate of mine and he'll do it all for us and help us with his network as well. So why not do the apprenticeships to be plugged into the HMP network?
Okay, so let's ask you a question then. I'm Freddie, I'm at school, I'm 12. I don't really know what I want to do. Someone's offered me a quick bit of money, it's a bit easy. I'm not great at school, I'm not good at maths, I'm not good at English. Everybody thinks I'm the dropout. What are you going to say to me that's going to make me change how I believe in me? I don't think I'm good at sport because I've never had an opportunity. I don't think I'm good at anything because everyone's told me I'm not good at anything.
Okay.
What can you do to change my mind? Yeah.
What I'll say to this young kid who's thinking about going to be naughty, I'll say, well, listen, son, right? I was in your position 40 years ago and I was raggo, a lot worse than you are, right? Now, what is it you really want to do with your life? Because you're going to commit crime for what? So I'm telling you, I spent my whole life committing crime, and all I've done was make my kids suffer. That's all I've done. Every one of my kids, even my youngest kids, have suffered because I went to prison for 4 murders in 2012. So they've suffered a little bit. They haven't happy in their life. So what I would say to these youngsters, if you don't want to get to 50 and have a broken heart, no money, no life, being stabbed, shot and put in prison, like, get an apprenticeship because it ain't worth it. So I'll try to alleviate all that pressure by doing as much as I can do, and this is what I do for Suffolk, and this is what I will do for Suffolk County Council, and all I can do is be me.
The one thing I do want to get across is to teachers. What can teachers be doing if they see these kids, and there's a lot of them on the edge of that, and they want to get them into education, into work? What can they do different? What can they be doing?
I can only show them how to communicate, because only when they see it will they understand it. Because I'm only giving all the kids what I wanted when I was in care. I'm giving all the kids what I wanted when my mum couldn't give me clothes. Everybody does things for reasons. Everybody does things because of their circumstances. These kids nowadays, they're choosing to go down to them circumstances. They're choosing to go to them depths of despair and lose with ignorance. They're throwing their lives away because of materialistic acquisition and social media. And it's sad that they're not looking inside themselves and seeing what they want. They're just looking at everybody else and believing what they want.
Right, Marvin.
Next one.
You walk down the street and you say to this person, that person, what are you doing? You're acting like a bad man, you're looking like a bad man, you're going to be treated like a bad man.
Yep.
If someone had said that to you when you were 14, what would you have said? What would you have thought?
I was happy to be a criminal. I wanted everybody to know.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's
These kids are pretending
Right.
they're criminals out here.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like Luke, right? He weren't a pretender. That's why he got chopped in the head. That's why he's gone blind. I think these youngsters are just getting drawn in to an egotistical environment. So these older lot are using these young lot because they're weak and they're unable to educate themselves. They're unable to create sustainability and they're unable to network. So what they do is they contaminate the youngsters with a mad sense of ability, worth and value, and lead them down the wrong road of crime, deprivation and prison, ultimately death. And that is what they do. It's like the Fagin mindset.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I was part of that. I would never do crime for other older villains. I'd tell them, go and do it yourself, mate. And I used to think they were mugs to ask me.
That's probably one of the most powerful things you've just said there, is exactly that. Why would you be listening to someone who wouldn't go do it themselves? Yeah. So what message can you give, one final message that you want to give that will plant that seed Plant that seed to a 14-year-old kid who's sitting there going, what can I do now? What can I do now? I've heard what he's saying.
See,
what
again,
do you want me to do?
it is the child's responsibility, himself or herself, to gain knowledge, right? So apprenticeships, perfect, right? Do an apprenticeship for a couple of years, get some knowledge. Move on to something else, do another apprenticeship, get a bit of money, get the knowledge. Go through 5 or 6 years of doing apprenticeships so you get knowledge in loads of different fields. Build it all up. Then when you get to 25, 30, how clever will you be? Mm-hmm. Life is all about reinvention. The key to survival is adaptability. Mm-hmm. Facts. And if you can't adapt, you're getting left behind. That's why I'm glad I'm Marvin Herbert.
Thank you there, Marvin. That's really powerful stuff. Really important to hear the perspective there. And as if by TV magic, here he is on the sofa with me. Marvin, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
All good. I'm looking forward to getting into some questions here and finding out a bit more about the man there. They're good questions here. So, was there a point in your life that you think anything could have been done differently that may have indeed changed your life choices?
Yeah, a hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. Basically, a whole different education strategy, system, and sort of focus, really. You know, I realised when I went to school, went to college, and went to university, I would have opened up a lot more doors to a better lifestyle and, you know, a better existence.
I know, yeah, we've just had a bit of a chat and you've said about the importance and the value of education and recognising that at a younger age as well and noticing the importance of it. So I know you said about school and a teacher, and there was one that taught badminton. Why was that so important to you?
Well, I went to what they call now a people referral unit. It was a Queen's Crescent IT, and it was a guy called Barry Mullen, and he was a middle-aged guy with a tash, but he taught me how to play badminton, squash and tennis. And what it actually taught me was focus and just sort of responsibility. You know, like you had to learn a skill, you had to maintain the skill, and to be that person that could play the game, you had to commit so much to it. So it was just sort of 3 little things I learned, and I took them things on into life. So I really do thank Barry for that. Yeah,
they're like you say, they're life skills. That's not something you learn in a classroom. That's out and about and actually doing these things that have taught you those. And I'm not saying now you look a day over 30, but what advice would 50-year-old Marvin give to 14-year-old Marvin? I imagine there's a lot of it.
So I'll just tell every kid now, yeah, go to school, go to college, and go to university. Because once you go to university and then you educate yourself, you gain knowledge. You got your knowledge to make a choice. You can make a choice to do whatever you like. And for anybody else that doesn't go to university or does things in university that doesn't get them where they want to go to, then apprenticeships and learning how to become the best version of you through an apprenticeship, and then take them skills, what you've learned, and create what you want to after you've sort of created sustainability with the apprenticeship. To go on and become whatever it is you want to become.
I'm glad you've mentioned apprenticeships there. What's the value in an apprenticeship to an ex-offender?
Wow, to an ex-offender, it's a start to a new life. It's a start to a new beginning, and it's a start to sustainability, and it's a start to somewhere to sort of look back on proudly and say, do you know what, I come from there. And like, because I've learned the systems of business and corporate world for the last few years, I'm absolutely amazed that I was so stupid for so long to be a criminal. And an apprenticeship would be the springboard that I would use if I was 19 right now to get into the business field or whatever field it is I wanted to get into. I'd find the apprenticeship and make myself that apprenticeship person that everybody wants me to work with. Do you know what I mean? So it's just the same emotional wants and needs, but with the most successful industry of its kind with an apprenticeship. So
I think that goes nicely into what's your key message? What would you plant as a seed to divert a young person away from crime, for example?
Wow. Well, staying away from crime is pretty simple, really. It's your food, your diet, your exercise, the 3 fundamental things that most criminals don't do. And then listening to your parents, listen to your mums, listen to people who want to perpetuate you to a better place. Focus on becoming the best version of you, physically, spiritually, mentally, and get in the gym, listen to your mum, become a better version of your mum, your dad, do an apprenticeship, get a bit of knowledge, and then use what you've created for your young adult life to go into your middle-aged life doing what you want, because you've got knowledge, you've got sustainability, and you've been working. So you've got everything, and then you can choose when you're 30, 40 years of age to go into a field that you really want to be.
I think that could literally apply to most young people, really. I imagine they're all thinking that exact same way you're thinking. And I know I thought the same thing, and I've at times thought, I know I should have listened to mum, or I know I should have listened to dad. They've lived their life.
Yeah.
I should have taken that. You know, I should have thought, actually, yeah, I know that they've lived this life.
That's it. And every kid thinks that they know more than their mum and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I did. You did. Everyone does. Mum and dad's is silly. They ain't got a clue. But they know how to make a better version of them in you, because you are them.
Yeah. So you're here today with the lovely Sharon from Apprenticeship Suffolk. Thank you, Sharon, for joining me again today. How have you found it out and about there today, seeing all of these young people out there looking for opportunities? How does that make you feel?
Well, I've felt amazing that they've engaged with me. I've felt amazed that they've listened, and I've felt amazed they actually sunk in. And a couple of kids outside, I see one of them get welled up.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he's realising after I spoke to him that he ain't been the best kid he could be to his mum, who's sacrificed, who's suffered, who's fed him, clothed him, and bought him every Christmas present he's ever had. Do you know what I mean? So I wished for a mum like that when I was growing up. So I tell all kids, man, don't take it for granted. And these kids here were listening, they were digesting, they were taking it on board. And I have no doubt that most of the kids here will go on to be successful human beings.
I love that. That's great. That's such a... you've got the seal of approval from Marvin there, so that's great to see. Thank you for joining me. It's really important to hear your perspective on things like this, and it's great to hear your passion on apprenticeships as well. You're an asset to Sharon and the team.
He absolutely is. We couldn't do without him now. He's got a big message to send out to all the people of Suffolk, schools, colleges,
Even the prisons.
Yeah, and the prisons as well. We're already working with Hoseley Bay. We're doing some work there. Marvin is already doing a lot of other work around the country with prisons, with the Metropolitan Police, all types of people. And we just want to help him get his message out there to help our society become better.
Speaking of which, I'm going to let you back out there now and send that message to the masses. Speak to the young people. Keep inspiring everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. Like I say, always forward, and it's lovely to see. Thank you for joining me, both of you.
Thank you very much for having me.